Good morning, Raptor freaks. It's Saturday morning, and that means it's time for the Saturday Share the Love Club, a show inspired by the words of Scotty Barnes and Gary Trent Jr. last year, near the end of the season. Scotty said, people need to just share more love in this world. And Gary said, the world would be a better place. There's more love shared. So I got inspired to make a segment on my channel called the Saturday Share Love Club where we celebrate somebody that has to do with the Raptors, whether it's a player, Masai Ujiri, one of the coaches, a broadcaster. We've done all types of people recently. And now we're going to do a content creator, somebody like me who's on YouTube who makes Raptors clips on the regular. In fact, this person makes a Raptor clip every Saturday and drops it at 2 p.m. And his name is Mike, and he is the logical Raptors fanatic. Now, Mike found this channel just about a year ago, and he's been pretty much a regular around us pretty much most of the time ever since. And I very much valued his presence on this channel. There's certain things I'm not good at. And I know my limitations. I have strengths and I have weaknesses, just like everybody. And in some ways, some of the people that are on this channel that come and frequent here really help me with some of my weaknesses. And this is definitely the truth about Mike. Mike really knows numbers. Mike's really good with stats. Mike's really good with research. And some of this stuff I don't enjoy doing. And it's great because he can tell me things about contracts. He can tell me things about timelines. He can tell me things about how the CBA works and different things like that. And he is so appreciated for that. There's other stuff he does that's fantastic too. He has a really good basketball mind that is really like critical and analytical. And he's very fair. The other thing I like about him is he's not like some basketball fans, jaded. And in some ways, he likes to see the positive in things. That's a really hard skill in some ways in life, is to be able to kind of like look at the bright side of things and kind of talk about it from that perspective. So many content creators these days really come at it from a negative slant. And the more positive content creators that are out there, like Mike and I, the better, honestly. Because seriously, in today's world, everybody's dealing with all kinds of stupid crap, whether it's rising grocery prices, whether it's crooked ass politicians, whether it's weird ass police or something like that. So we want escapes. So when we go to watch content on YouTube, do we want to get bummed out? Do we want to feel worse? No. We need people to make us forget, kind of give us a time to just kind of like get out of our head and think about something totally different. And I feel like that's something that people don't realize is that the more you make content that makes people feel good, the better things can be. And I think that's something that Mike does. Mike's really good at editing. He takes interview clips quite often, and he'll throw his voice over it. It's a logical Raptors fanatic over it. It's hilarious. The whole intro part with Kawhi and Masai and throwing his name into their mouths. I love that. I love that stuff. It's so creative and fun. And then his graphics. Holy crap, Mike. The color and the way you lay it all out. I actually really love the way you do your graphics because it reminds me of like when I was a kid and everything was so primary colors and like so bright, like bright red, bright orange, bright blue. And the graphics though, even though they're very colorful, they're very easy to read. And you can see so much on one of his clips because he'll put everything right there on the screen and you can look at it for yourself. And then he'll be kind of pointing out this, and then he'll be talking about this aspect of this stat in this player's career and stuff like that. And he really digs in there. He's like a mechanic. He'll get right in deep into the engine and really tinker with like numbers and really like get really specific about very specific things about specific players. He did that whole extension series with all the different players throughout the last year. And I just love his style. I love that he goes and gets these interviews. Like recently, Mike's been taking the end of the season interviews and really deep diving on them and like analyzing what they're saying. He did the piece on Siakam last weekend, and it was fantastic. It's like very much him talking about what Siakam's saying and the place where he's in his career and all this kind of stuff. Mike, I just got to say, seriously, I appreciate that you are working and doing what you do because we need more people like you. We really, really do. There's so many Pensairs. There's so many other people out there that just aren't adding to the conversation in a constructive, positive way. And that, you are, and you are very like you're like a library. You're like a reference book. You are like a reference book, and to me that is so valuable. In fact, maybe reference books will become something like people's channels like ours, that might may become like an encyclopedia at some point. We don't know what's going to happen with these channels. This content will stay on here as long as we want it to, and if it stays here on perpetuary, this stuff could be like the works of, like, not Plato and stuff like that, but there's early written down stuff. Well, when it comes around and metadata gets all swallowed up at some time in the future, my personality, Mike's personality, and other YouTube contributors' personalities may get like some sort of weird form of something. They may be able to manifest Mike in like 200 years from now from his YouTube channel and have the person just there kind of talking. That's the way it seems like things are with everything fake and AI and stuff like that. Well, they could probably manifest me from all the hours I've been on this channel, at some point later on in life. Who knows? Anyway, all right, just wanted to start with an intro of just talking glowing things about Mike, seriously. And then there's the stuff that happens here. Just really good insight and comments and going back and forth. We don't always agree, but we always find a way to be okay with not agreeing and seeing kind of things from different places. But quite often we do agree. I think most of the time we actually do very much agree on stuff. So, Mike, you are respected, valued, and loved for your contributions here at the Raptor Freak channel, and also all the work you do on your own channel. So if you have not subscribed to Logical Raptors Fanatic, please do and check out his stuff. He has another drop coming today at 2 o'clock, and I'll be waiting for it. All right, let's see what you guys are saying this morning. Isaac Campbell saying W at Mike. That's right, Isaac Campbell. Benevolent Isaac Campbell in Ottawa, giving some W's to you, Mike. That's right. Naco the Nacho saying, I love what the Miami Heat are doing. What a yikes fourth quarter Tatum had. I love it too, Gerald. It's so fun to see what's happened now with the Lakers and the Celtics down 0-2 in both series. This is fantastic. This is exactly how I hope it would happen. Now, I'm worried that the NBA is writing a script where they're going to both make miraculous comebacks and still end up against each other in the finals. But I don't know if Jimmy or Jokic will let that happen. That's the thing. The will of Jimmy Butler may not let the script of the NBA go the way they want it to go. In fact, that seemed like what happened last night. I mean, they were cruising to the win, the Celtics, and then Grant Williams made a very, very serious mistake. In fact, it's kind of funny how everybody's making fun of Grant Williams for being an idiot and getting in Jimmy's face. Because right after that happened in the fourth quarter, Jimmy scored the same amount of points as the Celtics, 9, but the Heat scored 24, overcame them, and beat them by the end of the game. That's 2 wins on the Boston home floor to open this series. And now they go to Miami for 2 games. Wow. Could there be a sweep coming in this series? It may really depend on what the referees will allow. That's for sure. But yeah, great stuff, Miami. Proud of you, Jimmy. It was not a night for Kyle, though. Kyle didn't have a very good game last night, but it didn't matter. The Miami Heat were prepared to take it up and take them down. Fantastic stuff. And, let's look at Jason Tatum. And what did he do last night in his game? He had 34 points. Not bad. A double-double with 13 rebounds and 8 assists. But how many of those points came in the fourth quarter? And who was there to show up in the fourth quarter to stop Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat? Not a whole lot of anybody. Yeah, they lost to the Heat like this, and Kyle Lowry shot 0 for 5 and had 0 points. Wow. Cowboys here. Good to see you. Canadian Cowboy. Bradley, you guys are in that WNBA Fantasy League. Did you guys check out the action last night? Did you get your lineup set? We'll do a check on the teams and say, good morning, Lex. Bam. And Raptor Freaks. Bam. Big up to Logical Raptors Fanatic. That's right, Bradley giving Mike his kudos. Yes, it is the Share the Love Club for Logical Raptors Fanatic. That's right. Project Truth and the real ones. Always Mike is in the house getting his shine for today. It is the Saturday Share the Love Club. And we love Mike because we appreciate him coming in here and dropping knowledge for us. Yeah. At some point, you guys might all get Share the Love Club at some point. But Mike works so hard with his channel, I had to give him some respect for the stuff he's doing. G saying, I appreciate how Logical always defends the players and coaches passionately. There you go. This is how I knew Mike was a real one and a real Raptors freak, is because he very much likes to defend the guys. Like yesterday, we are talking about Nick Nurse, and nobody's defending Nick Nurse at this point except for Mike. Mike standing alone to defend Nick Nurse at this time with what's going on. And in a lot of ways, I totally respect that. I think that's so awesome and so good. He's been very, very much finding evidence based cases to defend our players and coaches this whole season. Well, they're just talking about Fred Van Vliet slander. There's Mike going and doing research and finding good evidence to fight against the Fred haters. They're talking about Pascal. He can go and find out good, hard facts, little factoids that'll help people respect Pascal more. This is Mike fighting the good fight. And he really is. Seriously. This is important in the Raptors nation, the war of perception. And Mike is a general in that war to fight for the good side. Trust me. Yeah. Let's see what else you guys say. Mike saying, I had to be here. Sorry about the thumbnail. I was really busy. It's all good, Mike. Don't worry about the thumbnail. I hope you don't mind me using just your logo for the picture. Don't worry about it. I always make things happen no matter what. You're not mad at me for using your logo, are you? Because I can take it down. No, I'm trying to put you on blast. In fact, the link to Mike's channel, if you don't know where it is, you can just search it, or you can look at it in the description of this content today, and you can go follow him and check out some of his stuff he's talking about. Yeah, let's see. Mike's saying Raptor Freak Nation is the best nation. Respect everyone here. You go, Mike. Seriously. I really, really do appreciate what you do in every kind of way. And that's why I keep saying it right now. You have been a very good contributor to this channel. The other thing I really like about Mike is he mirrors in a way like a player. Like we made this comparison in the past, that we're all in development as people. This is something that's going to be such a huge life skill for Mike for the rest of his life. And never lose this, even when you get older, like me. And you can't lose the ability to learn and open your mind to new ideas and change your opinions. There's too many people in the past that have lived rigid, stubborn lives that, like, I'm old, I know everything I should know. And they don't change anything at a certain point when they get older. Don't ever do that. Continue to always strive to be progressive and change and be able to amend your thoughts and feelings about the world as new facts come out. That's so important. Now with Mike, this is the thing. We talked about his channel a lot. He's open to criticism. He likes to hear feedback. He wants to hear about how he can improve his channel. And that is something that shows maturity. That shows that he's somebody who doesn't mind people maybe being a little negative about what he's doing, but he uses it as it's a valuable thing so that he can make what he's doing better. And I've seen that. You can see in the last year of his channel how it has evolved already, and whether it's like figuring out the right sweet spot for his time, whether it's how he does the graphics, whether it's with his delivery, it's whatever. He's like a player in the NBA. He's in development and he is getting better and better and better. And I love that. I think that shows. I just admire that quality in people so much. People that want to get better in life. It doesn't have to be a specific thing. It's just whatever. If you want to develop and get better at things and you go out there and do the work, I have a lot of admiration for you. So that's something I really admire about Mike also. He's not afraid to put in the work. He's not afraid to hear harsh criticism, and he's wanting to get better. And that's just a really, really good quality for people to have. G saying, I can't lie. Some of my favorite parts of the show are when you can't decipher his paragraphs or shorthand. Yeah, there's a little bit of a comedy duo with Mike and I on this channel. It's not always totally smooth. And yeah, sometimes it's kind of like a little bit of like Cramden and Carney, maybe like, honeymooners with Jackie Gleason and Art Carney, where he's like, why, Norton, what are you doing? Norton, no, I'm not trying to be mean to Mike. It all really comes from a positive place. And like I was just talking about, helping him, with different things. And in some ways, it's my channel. I want to make sure I can read what he's saying. But, I get it. G finds the comedy in that whole exchange entertaining. So in some ways, Mike, indirectly, our snafus and our miscommunications are entertainment for the rest of the Raptor freaks. So that's what he's saying right there. That's hilarious. Yeah. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. Always good to see Randolph's name in the chat in the morning. Saturday morning blessings, beloved Raptor freaks. Most informative gang. What's up, freaks? Here to be informed. I'm seeking news, facts, not speculation, as so many others do for views. All right, well, let me drop some facts and news for Mr. Phillips here right now. Yesterday, very interesting stuff with Ron Harper Jr. Ron, very, very active on Twitter yesterday, extremely active. In fact, he was joking that after today, he's going to go into a hole for 5 months and you won't hear him tweet anything. He has a very passionate thing that he's upset about right now. And it's about his alma mater, Rutgers. Rutgers had a person that was committed to come play for them for the next season coming up, but he's decommitted and he's entered the NIL transfer portal to gain money. And in some ways, what he did is kind of like unscrupulous, not very nice, not very good, because Rutgers was depending on him to come and play for them in the program next year, and that it was going to help them be projected to be a very high, good college team in the NCAA this year coming up. Well, now with this guy leaving, decommitting, and going to the NIL, they're not thrilled about this. There's all kinds of weird new repercussions with the NIL stuff with college basketball at this point. Well, Ron Harper has entered the chat on this. He got on Twitter yesterday, very, very condemning of this act and what has happened, because he sees how it's going to hurt his team, Rutgers, that he went to school at. So he was all over the place interacting with people on this topic, and he was pretty funny on there. And he was very much cooking people in comments and stuff. So you go check out Ron Harper's Twitter. It's very, very interesting. There's a lot on it from yesterday. And he's very, very feeling very, very strongly about the NIL phenomena and how it's affecting big programs and commitments of young players to the team. So yeah, there you go. There's a little news there. And then let's go look at the Instagram stories from yesterday. We got Precious up first, and he is celebrating our rookie from last year, Mr. Christian Coloco. The Raptors official account put a nice picture collage of Christian from his year one rookie year, and Precious is putting him on blast on his Instagram. I guess that there's a good friendship there, and he wants to show his love for Coloco in this picture. Then we got Thad Young. Of course, he's repping his companies and stuff. He's got him and Mrs. Young are getting on a plane. It looks like they're flying Volato. It looks like the Youngs are getting in the air in the private jet. Of course, Coloco putting his own post on blast. Year one for 35. That's right. And then there's a picture in the photo collage of him laying on the ground with Scotty coming over and bending over and putting his hands over his ears. And Coloco's saying, Scotty's always playing around, man. I love to see the fun between these guys, and to see Coloco laughing about Scotty holding his hands over his ears as he's trying to lay there doing something. I don't know. Good fun between the Raptors. And then we got Slim Duck, Mr. Chris Boucher. He's got this really funny post. I was laughing at this. He loves to post these funny memes on his Instagram that are hilarious. He's got this one that says, them fancy restaurants be like Le Frost de Flake, $119.99. And it's like a little small pile of cornflakes with like a little dabble of milk around it, one little strawberry on top. And yeah, it's like making fun of fancy restaurants for making really small meals for like high prices. And it's really just cornflakes. It looks like it's just cornflakes. It could be the Frosted Flakes. I don't know. I can't tell. But Slim Duck's got a great sense of humor. I always love seeing his stuff. I like seeing his sense of humor because it makes me laugh too. We've got a similar sense of humor. And then Chris just showing nice pictures of him walking in. And yeah, there's some other stuff that's pretty funny on there also. Go check out Chris's Instagram. It's always funny. Rico celebrating Paris Brown, who is committed to, it looks like North Carolina. So there you go. And then, like, let's see what else is going on. Gary Trent Jr. is a new ad campaign for OLG and the Raptors. They're going to be doing this new thing in Toronto called like these drops. They're going to be dropping bags around the GTA. And you have to apply by getting on this app. and it'll tell you when the bags will be dropped, so you can go run there and get them. This is very similar to what they did during the playoffs when they were giving out jerseys around the city to get people hyped about in the playoffs. They said, we're at the CN Tower. Whoever gets here first will get this jersey, this Delano Banton jersey. Well, that was really successful. Well, they're going to do this stuff during the summer right now at any like weird random time. So if you want to know where these OLG Raptor drops are going to go on, you're going to have to download the app and be on your toes and ready to run out the different landmarks around Toronto to try and get these swag bags when they come out. Gary's in the advertisement for it, which I like because that means, well, he's still doing Raptors advertising at this point, even though his dad's at the Philadelphia practice facility. That's a good sign that he's still in our Raptors advertisements. So we'll see what that means. But I like seeing Gary repping the Raps in that. So that's pretty awesome. And yeah, as I said, more Ron Harper. Of course, yesterday I talked about it for a sec because we saw it, but he was in the kitchen at the OVO Center cooking up some Filipino food as the adobo. And yeah, everybody loves it. And everybody's putting it on blast. And they're saying that they want to eat his food. They wanted to try what he was cooking in there because the way he made it up, it looks so yummy. So everybody's all about that. And yeah, and he's also putting on blast Christian Coloco saying, my kid for real. And he's making, they're talking about Chef Ron. All right, so there's your Instagram chat with the Raptors, always active on social medias. Yeah, I love seeing it. All right, let's see what's up. Tom Duke is in the house. One of the most real ones out there. He's talking about Mike. Much appreciated Mike's unique and educational contribution to the Raptors nation. Let's fucking go, Mike. Right on, buddy. Thank you. And good day, Lex and Raptor Freak family. Thank you, Tom Duke. And you are going down, Tom Duke. That's right, buddy. Yeah. Suck it. No, I'm just kidding, Tom. Yeah, we're playing WNBA fantasy, and I'm playing Tom right now. I'm going to check in on this real quick. The game last night. All right, I got 125 points after the first day of scoring in the first night of the WNBA. Diana Taurasi getting me 30 points. It looks like Brittany Griner got you 34. But Tom, make sure you play your lineup and get everybody out there because it looks like you had a bench player you could have played yesterday that you didn't get in. So make sure you go in and switch your lineup around today, Tom. It looks like you could put two ladies off the bench into the lineup for today. So maybe you want to get in there and get them points while you can. I recommend that to everybody who's playing the WNBA fantasy with us. But yeah, you're going down, Tom. Yeah. Raptors Street gonna beat you. Yeah, let's go, Tom. Bradley is saying, what's your favorite draft prospect? Logical. I like Wallace and George. Those are two names that I've been very impressed with so far. I really like George. And the stuff that Monique posted yesterday about Case and Wallace was very attractive also. I haven't seen any highlights of him, but I saw her description of him and what she was saying about his prospects. So yeah, I don't know, Mike. You go ahead. Let's see what you got to say. He's saying, I want to be a resource for people to follow the team without an agenda or spin and try to be as close to the real truth as possible. There you go. He doesn't have some sort of weird motive to take down one of the Raptors like Fred VanVleet. He doesn't have like this negative brain that's like saying, oh, everything sucks, chicken littling the team all the time, maybe hampering their chances. He is very optimistic, and he does allow for us to kind of be like, well, we could do this or so much better. And he's looking in that kind of way instead of saying, yeah, we suck because of this or this or this. There could be a logical Raptors fanatic that's like a downer, Debbie Downer logical Raptors fanatic, who basically goes out and looks at all the stats and tells us why we suck. I would hate that channel. Oh my gosh, I would hate that channel so much. And so I'm glad that Mike comes at it with the Messiah mentality of building and creating and positivity and building up instead of tearing down and sullying and slandering. And that's important. That is really important about our content. In some ways, I have to walk that line. I don't want to I want to be positive and helpful to the Raptors and not kind of making more confusion and problems for them. So the more clear and, accurate with truthfulness, like what Randolph and different people are saying they like, not the speculative stuff, the better, because there's a lot of speculative noise that's unnecessary and actually damaging. And we don't need more of that. And that's why Mike and I, we're the kind of people that make stuff like we do, because we don't like that stuff either. We don't want it either. Yeah. G saying, Tada, I have seen your truck in East York. Uh-oh. Tada's lurking in East York. Uh-oh. Tada. If you need any help around your house, like you got a big, huge object that's you can't live by yourself. Maybe you got a carpet that smells. You need to carpet clean it or something. Maybe you need your windows cleaned up so you can see better outside because it's all dirty. You can get Tada to come to your house and they will help you. Just look them up in the phone book. Maybe you'll see them on the street with their truck, like G did. G saying Hemi Butler is a dog. I didn't realize how confident and good he actually is, especially under pressure. He was always this guy, but you know what it is? He's aged like a fine wine. The Jimmy Butler that we beat in Philadelphia when he was on the Sixers is a different Jimmy Butler now. He didn't have exactly where he was, where he is now. And in fact, he's so dangerous at this point. He may be at the apex predator point of his career, where he's like at the very highest level of his physical attributes. And then his mental acumen and his drive is at an all-time high also. So he may be one of the most dangerous players in this entire league right now. I mean, it looks like that. And that's the thing. His environment is the playoffs. It's not even the regular season. He would be like, whatever. I don't mind if Miami looks mid during the whole entire season because we're wolves in sheep's clothing. And once we get our foot in the door and we get an invite to come into the playoffs, yeah, then we'll take the sheep's clothing off and you'll see the real wolf. And that's really kind of what's happened with Miami. The whole season, they looked very mid. To me, they looked old. To me, they looked undersized. I was like, they don't have any power forwards anymore. PJ left. Well, they went and got Kevin Love, and they did a couple other things and shored up their front line, and it doesn't really matter. It's like Bam Adebayo that really catches it all and does all right. And there's the other X factors, important things about the Miami Heat team that matter the most in the playoffs, and that is dog, and that is grit, and determination. And that's what we saw last night. Yeah, really, you stepped into it last night, Grant Williams. You really, really did. You did not need to piss off Jimmy like that. And it really was a backfire. It really, really was. Oh, yeah. And you go Miami Heat. I love it. I love it. All right. Yeah, let's see. Mike saying, Tada, I haven't dived into the draft stuff yet. I will at some point. Respect Tom and everyone. The Raptor Freaks are the peeps. I love making content for. There you go. See, that's part of it is Mike stumbled on his tribe. In a weird way, me making this channel made me stumble on my tribe. I mean, I seriously just wanted an outlet to talk about the Raptors in the pandemic because I felt stuck at home and I wasn't seeing people on the street. Like I would talk to them in person. But in some ways, this is way more efficient and better because I can talk about Raptors with everybody all at once at any time, and you guys can come watch me later. It's almost like we can have all those Raptors conversations I would have had on the street in Kensington Market with people like Chuck and other friends of mine. I can have them with everybody all at once on here, including my uncle in Winnipeg and my dad and all kinds of people spread out all over the place. So in some ways, I like the efficiency and the ability to talk to everybody and talk about Raptors information all at once. It's very efficient. So yeah, we stumbled on our tribes from our channels, Mike, and I love it. I love it. We are definitely in the same tribe. That's for sure. Cowboy saying, respect, G. It's my twins truck, but yeah, it's hard to miss. See, Tada is a family business, and they are all over the city. They will come and help you. Trust me. They will help you. We've had some of our Raptor Freaks call them. David Saborin had them come do work, and Bradley brought in peppers. So it's like if you want free peppers, you might get peppers if you call them and they come to your house. In fact, Bradley, my window looks kind of not clean. I don't know. I wish I'd call you guys. I should put the bill on my landlord, but he won't pay. So that in some ways, I'm not going to trouble you for that. Trevor's saying, good morning. The Boston Celtics look like they're in a lot of trouble. Miami taking them down 2 games in their own arena. Yeah, don't get any easier. You're going to Miami, but we know the refs are probably going to help y'all down there. They can't let Boston get swept. This will look really bad. So, they're probably going to let them get at least one of these Miami games. Now, if their Miami Heat are up 3-1 at the end of the 2 Miami games, they have a game 5 in Boston. Woo-hoo, look out. Just go get it, Miami. Put them out. That's all I care about right now. That's all I care about. Let's look at the refs for today. Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals is in LA today. Denver Nuggets at Los Angeles Lakers. The crew chief is Scott Foster. The notorious Scott Foster will be running the game tonight. And he's got Bill Kennedy, our favorite, with him, and Mark Lindsay from Pennsylvania. So this is how it all breaks down here. Scott Foster and Bill Kennedy are big Lakers fans. So in LA with Scott Foster and Bill Kennedy there, they're going to get help from those two refs. Now, Mark Lindsay is actually favoring the Nuggets, though. So two of the refs favor the Lakers, the two main refs, and then the third ref favors the Nuggets. That's how it goes with the referee report tonight. Scott Foster, Bill Kennedy, friends of the Lakers. Mark Lindsay, friend to the Joker and the Nuggets. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, they're not going to want the Lakers to be down 3-0. They really aren't. So I'm going to expect them really try and bend things to make the Lakers win this game somehow, some way, no matter what. But let's see. Once again, the Nuggets can be so overwhelmingly good that they just stop all the cheating and they defy it and they still win the game no matter what. I would love to see that. In some ways, the overpoweringly good efficiency of a Jokic-led Nuggets team is just so awe-inspiring because of the way the league is so crooked in some ways, that the Nuggets can be so good that they can overcome any kind of like slights or weirdness from refs or the NBA in general. I will be so proud of them. So win at all costs over anything that comes at you, Denver. I really do think you will. I really do think you will. Let's see. Mike saying, "Am I not mad?" Let's see. I don't know what that means. See, he just did one just for fun. Am I not mad? I don't know what that means, Mike. What does that mean? Am I not mad? All right. Let's see. Miami versus Nuggets finals. Grote versus Blue Arrow. You need it. Yeah. He's saying he's not mad. That's what he meant when he said, "I'm not mad." But yeah, I like that finals. See, this is the thing that the Laker fans and the Celtic fans are saying. Nobody will watch it if those teams go to the finals. Bullshit. They won't watch it. You know, more people may be interested in watching it than just the same old tired Celtics versus Lakers matchup rivalry, whatever. That, you know, you guys are the only ones that get into that, Celtics and Lakers nation. The rest of us are kind of like, meh. It'll never match up like Bird versus Magic. It'll never have that kind of like allure or craziness to it like it did back then. At this point, there's just not the right kind of superstar. Sure, you can try and say LeBron versus Tatum. That's not the same as Larry versus Magic. I'm sorry. But yeah, you can say, oh, nobody's going to watch if the Nuggets are versus the Heat. That's bullshit. They will watch because they're going to want to see if Jimmy can actually beat the Nuggets. Monique is here. Good to see the super fan. Monique Lawrence. Always happy to see the greatest. Monique. Good morning, everyone. I may not comment on all your videos, Mike, but I do watch them and we appreciate you. There you go. Monique saying she's watching your videos all the time just because, you know, she may not comment, but she is there watching them. And know that, Mike, that she is following your stuff and checking it out. I do like the new shorter stuff that you're doing right now. But, you know, listen, you're good all the way up to an hour. When you do your content, you know, when you start getting a little bit over the hour and stuff like that, it's a little bit, and me saying that, I know it's rich, but you know, in some ways, the way you do your stuff, it's better in those bite-sized little pieces. And it could be good if you did like 10-minute clips and you did like a bunch of them. Like if you were going to do a half-hour clip for today, maybe you break it up into 3 different sections and do 3 different 10-minute clips. If the nature of live streaming could be more like that for me, like I could probably cut parts of this out and put them out as like little 10-minute sections. But it's so much work. And that's part of the reason why I'm not doing it. But, you know, with the way you pre-produce your stuff, you know, that may be something you may want to consider. Although I think what you're doing right now is actually worked really well. And you've evolved to this at this point. I get it. I've been watching your stuff and I see how you've been changing it slightly here and there as you go. And I think you're evolving in the right direction and you're doing good stuff. Fiercey's here. Good to see Fiercey. Saw Sarah in the WNBA fantasy league with us. Fiercey. Let's see what Fiercey did last night as far as in the matchups with her matchup. I believe Fiercey is playing MK. Or no, Fiercey's playing Monique. And they're in a very tough battle. There's a 1-point lead for Monique after one night of play. Do y'all know how to get in there and set up your lineups? Because all you got to do is go to your team and just move the players up from the bench into the lineup. You got a guard, 2 guards, forward center, forward center, forward center, 3 forward centers, and then a utility. So every single day we can start 6 players. And you just want to make sure you've got 6 active players that have games that day in that upper lineup. There's no limit to how many players you play over the whole time. So play them if they're available and they can get in there. no matter what. So I'm just seeing real quick in your matchup, Monique and Fiercey, that y'all have some bench players for tonight. Tina Charles, Veronica Burton for Fiercey, and then Mercedes Russell and Rakina Williams for Monique. So make sure you get them in there. And these games start at 1 and 3 o'clock. So you're going to want to do it this morning before the afternoon games start for the WNBA today. I just want to make sure y'all are as competitive as possible and you get that real good bam, 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 see who wins at the end of it. Now, I did change the scoring in the WNBA Fantasy League just slightly last night because I noticed I had marked the free throws made box and it was giving extra points for making free throws. Free throws counted too much. It was already counting the points for the free throws in the points category. So I just deducted it off there and it did it blanketly for everybody. So just so you know, so if you see that, it's nothing fishy. It's just that it was redundant to count the free throws made with the points already because it was already getting counted into that. Now, if you don't know how the scoring system goes, it's basically like this. For every point you score, you get 1 point. For every rebound and assist, you get 1 point. For blocks and steals, you get 2 points for those. So they're actually worth more. If your player gets a block or a steal, you get 2 points added to your fantasy total. So there's a little bit of a primer on our WNBA Fantasy League. I'm learning too. I didn't realize how the scoring system was until last night, until I saw it in action. But yeah, that's how it's going. And if you have any questions, definitely ask me. I can help you with that. Let's see. Mike is saying, okay, wait, let's read what Fiercey said here also. Good morning, fam. Salute to Logical Raptors Fanatic. Appreciate your channel. Great analysis and analytics, giving us insightful info, which I would have never been able to dig up. Keep it up. There you go. Fiercey with words of encouragement from Mike also. And this is true. Like there's some of the stuff you're doing that you don't mind doing that a lot of us don't want to do. Let's just put it that way. Mike, you're doing some of the grunt work, but you enjoy doing it. And that's a skill in itself. People that like to research and get into the guts of it all and really get in the thick of it, that's not common. There's a lot of people that do not enjoy that kind of work. And I like it to a degree, but not to the degree that you do with certain things that you get into. And that's why part of it is very much really, really appreciated. Mike saying respect, Mo. That means a lot. And Fiercey, your feedback has been great. There you go. I know I've heard Mike talk about it. All right, Mike, I'm going to give you a little feedback right now. Now, sometimes, and I found that sometimes this happens here on our channel, here on the in the comments, that sometimes you're doing your open production meeting during your show. Now, I don't mind that to a degree. It kind of opens up and we see your process. But in some ways, you don't have to include that in your content when you do like housekeeping and you start talking about like this kind of stuff. Don't talk about the plans, just go and do it and keep like some of it proprietary behind the scenes. And then in some ways, you may be surprising people or something like that because you're not like telling them your next move or something like that. I don't know. This may be ticky tacky, but once again, you're open to getting feedback. I'm just saying that maybe like some of your production notes or what you're talking about doesn't even need to be in the content. Just stick to your subject and then do all that stuff in your head and kind of keep it for like you're going to do it anyway and we'll see the results. And then you can say, yeah, I decided to change this about this and this. It's kind of like do it before you say it. And then afterwards, if you have to say it then, but we'll all see it anyway. That kind of thing. I don't know. Does that make sense, Mike? I don't know. Let's see. G San Gary's baller drops contest on Instagram. Yeah, baller drops. That's what they're calling it. Baller drops on the Raptors Instagram. Yeah, get that app so you can get the drops and get there on time. Oh, there's a drop at Wellington and whatever street. Go down there, get the drop. Illicit drops. I don't know. Tom Duke is saying Mike has and is always consistently an outspoken, positive voice in Raptors venues. Mike going after the negative fan base, for example, is a mature way and is refreshing to see and necessary. I love this. I love that y'all are lauding Mike and giving him kudos today. And this is what the Share the Love Club is all about, is talking about what we like, and we're sharing love. And there's a lot of sharing hate and being cynical and being just a jerk in the world. Well, we're going to do a little bit of the opposite of it because Scotty Barnes said, share the love. We're sharing the love today. And Tom is very, very much saying some nice things here. This is true. There's a negative aspect to the Toronto Raptors fan base. And I don't even call them fans anymore. It's just Raptors Nation. And there's a percentage of them that are trolls. negative, cynical, horrible individuals that are just tortured in their life. That they're so tortured that they have to be so negative about the Raptors, putting them down. Maybe they're tortured Leaf fans also, and that's sometimes part of it. Yeah, and I appreciate Mike always fighting the good fight for against negative perceptions and trying to bring people around to be like positive about it. You know, we've spoken over and over again that the way that Masai and Bobby run this team is to be flexible and to allow for creation and building and having good things happen. And sometimes a lot of people forget that. There's a real problem right now in Raptors Nation that everybody thinks we're mid and we're going nowhere. It's like we're in the middle of the water and we have a canoe and we have no paddles. They really think that's where we are with our franchise. But see, people like Mike and I can see the potential and understand what's going on with our team right now, that this is not true. They only go off of like the performance from last year and all the confusion and problems like this, and they just extend the projection into next year without thinking about that. Well, Masai is going to be working on this summer to improve it and make the situation better with the vibes and the personnel on our team. Firing the coach and getting a new coach will make a difference. Now, some people are saying, well, we're more likely to get worse than get better. I don't believe that. I truly believe that we will have an upswing in our record from last year. And that is part of what I'm talking about. Mike and I can get the evidence and show them that this is how we could project us to be better next year and not just the same or worse than we were last year. And that's part of the fight that we're doing with our channels, is to keep people positive and stop like steering things towards like everything's going to suck now because this happened or this happened. A lot of Raptors Nation people are like that, and that's not necessary. It's not worth it. It's like, why you want to be so sad, Debbie Downer? Jeez. Tom Duke saying Project Truth always. That's right. That's right. Don't be a chicken little. Don't chicken little about this team. We got good things going and we're going to get things right. Trust me. These guys care a lot about getting the Raptors right, and they're going to do it. They have that kind of will. Last year was just confusing and weird, and nobody like fixed the problems as the season went on. They just lingered because Nick Nurse was ineffective. If he had fixed our team in the middle of the season, we wouldn't have had half the problems we had. We wouldn't have gone out like chumps in the Chicago game like that. You know, you think about it, if we had beaten Chicago like we were supposed to that night, and we should have because we had the lead and we were winning in the second half, we would have played Miami. And we're a way better matchup for Miami than a lot of teams in this league. In fact, we beat them in the regular season in our season series with them 3-1. So it's like if we'd gotten the chance to play Miami on that Friday that instead of Chicago, we might have beaten them and put them right out, and they wouldn't have gotten anywhere near the finals like what they're going right now. That's the thing. And then if you really want to start plugging in and playing, well, what if we could have done what they did to Milwaukee? And we could have been on this path that the Miami Heat are on right now. You know, there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda we could have do about this. That if Nick Nurse hadn't checked out and we were actually doing things the correct way and we had him coaching us right and we were in a good place and we came into the postseason the correct way, we could have been gone pretty far with the way the Eastern Conference is sussed out in these playoffs right now. Trust me, we could have easily been Miami, but we had a messed up coach. See, you could say that. Seriously. Some people can say, oh, you're not that good. Well, we're not that much worse than Miami. Trust me. We really aren't. If you think about the regular season, the way we played them and everything like that, that's how this parity is showing. Is that if you have that playoff dog like Jimmy Butler, well, that may be the factor that gets you over just a little bit when everybody's about the same with the parity. You know, you can look at Boston, you can look at Milwaukee. These were the juggernauts of the Eastern Conference. Well, look at what Miami's doing to them in the playoffs. Yeah, that's what matters, is a dog and fight in a league full of parity. Is you really care and you're playing playoff type basketball when playoffs are happening. And Jimmy Butler is that man right there. Yeah. Let's see. Cowboys saying, I can't find the fantasy. Is it on Yahoo? No, Bradley, it is on ESPN. We are playing on ESPN. Let me just get the league. Let me get the league. I'm going to put it in the chat here for you, Bradley. So you just look and see. It'll be in the chat. Let me copy that and just post it in to the bottom. And you can go look at the league from there. That's right. If y'all can't find the league, I just put the link in the chat. So go check it out. All right, let's see. Tom saying, what's in the bag? Or is it just a cool bag? You killed me yesterday in the fantasy. I dropped the ball on the first day. Well, you only benched one player that you had on the bench. You had three people playing, and you missed one of them. But you got Brittany in there and another player, so you did all right. And I had a full lineup. I'm really on top of this. I'm not going to be showing any mercy to anybody in this WNBA league. I'm going to tell you that right now. So if you're going to play the Raptors Freaks team, you better be ready to play that week. That's right. What's going to be in the bag? I have figured they're going to have all kinds of assorted of Raptors swag in these drop bags that they're going to be putting around town. Gary Trent Jr. and OLG and the Raptors. I'm going to figure there's maybe T-shirts and towels and different swag for Raptors that'll be in there. Maybe there'll be some weird tickets or something like that. Maybe they'll have like tickets to a ACC concert, not ACC, Scotiabank concert. Isaac saying, love your openness and curiosity of the project truth, project that truth. Yeah, there's a compliment for Isaac as far as his openness and the curiosity of the process. So he's liking some of the stuff I was saying you don't have to do. He likes to hear the production notes and the ideas that you're coming up with, just talking about it, housekeeping and stuff like that. I mean, the housekeeping part's fine. It's just that some of that stuff, you don't need to put it on blast. It's behind the scenes stuff, like production stuff that you can kind of keep for yourself. Tom and I have had production meetings for this channel where I'll talk to Tom on the phone and we'll talk about things that are going on this channel that y'all don't know we're talking about. And that's what I'm talking about, Mike. And it may be that you have stuff that you don't need to necessarily include in your content that is kind of more about how you make your content. But Isaac enjoys seeing your process. So that's cool. G saying, thanks, Mo, for the combine post on Keontae George. From the comments I got, that he is in great shape now and his shot looks great. He also has bounce. He really does have bounce. That guy is not super tall, but he really elevates and gets to that rim. And then, like I said, the squareness of his shot, the fundamental greatness of his shooting form is really attractive to me for our issues with our problems with shooting. Is like that's how I judge shooters. I don't necessarily look at the numbers. I really look at how their body physically moves when they take jump shots. And if they're really replicating it very, very perfect over and over again and getting the result over and over again, boom, that's how you find out if somebody's a good shooter or not. And he was that guy in the highlights that I saw from the combine. Keontae. Yeah, he's my number one favorite right now. As far as like if Masai and Bobby are going to draft somebody at 13, that's the guy I like right now. He's my favorite right now. George. Yeah, and Monique saying, appreciate that, G. Yeah, see, we shared the love from Monique a couple weeks ago, but we can come back around and share more love from Monique once again. She has such a great role with bringing us information. She really is a news hound. She is constantly in on everything, all over the place. And it's like, in some ways, Monique and I, for years, have kind of competed at like bringing new stuff to people and posting it in different places. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, Monique's going to find it. She found it before me and she's already posted it. That's quite often the truth. I'll be like, oh, this is a new thing I just found. And I'll turn to go put it in the Facebook chat. And Monique has posted it 10 minutes before me. It is really kind of like that, her and I's relationship. We're both, it's not that we're competing. We have the same goal, and that's to inform everybody and be in the same place. So I very much appreciate her catching all the kind of stuff that I may have missed, and vice versa. There may be sometimes stuff that I find that she didn't see, but it all helps because then we have more eyes on it and we're sharing it all together. So I really do appreciate Monique for being such a person that seeks out Raptors information and brings it to us. In fact, she has reach in different places that I don't have, as far as knowing certain people around the organization. And then also just she has other places that she looks that I don't necessarily look. So once again, if we're a collaborative, we're a hive mind, and we have people like Mike, Monique, myself, all the rest of you guys. We find information. G brings in stuff all the time. I hear, suggestions from people saying, hey, Lex, you should go watch this. And boom, I like the highlights of Scotty earlier this week were brought to me by, I believe it was G. G said, hey, you need to check out this Hoop Diamond clip or something like that. I forget. It was either you or it may have been Isaac or somebody. And it was one of the old school regulars that have been here since the beginning. So let's see. All right, hang on. I want to make sure I get every comment. I'm missing some here. I jumped ahead. Isaac's that's Isaac. Okay. Tom Duke saying Mo is still on it. Yeah, Mo is always on everything all the time. And I appreciate Monique for that. Mike saying, I was talking at bars during pool games and etc. So it was hard to find really knowledgeable Raptor fans versus Leaf fans. But I'm so glad I found the Raptor freaks because talking Raptors wasn't easy. It's the same here. Most people aren't as diehard as we are. Most people are not as passionate. And if they do like the Raptors, there's a certain percentage that they'll be negative and cynical about them, even if they're considering themselves very much passionate Raptor fans. It's really hard to find that right little spot of being passionate and positive about it because there's a lot of jaded Toronto sports fans out there. It's tough with the Leafs around. It's really tough. And I know exactly what you're talking about, Mike. You could go to any bar and restaurant in around town and try and go watch a Raptors game, and you could sit there and watch it with people and try and talk to them. You may not get the kind of positivity and the knowledge that you have in this chat with the person you're sitting there because they may be very casual or they may be very kind of negative. And that's no fun. I hate sitting at bars with people that are kind of like putting down the Raptors while we're watching them at the same time. It's like, oh, they made that one, but wow, they're probably going to go cold for the next 5 minutes like they always do. Bullshit like that. Who needs that? Mo's saying, I worked in the Filipino community telling my story. So when he came to Raptors, I was thrilled. Now learning stuff about different foods. Way to go, Ron and the Raptors. There you go. Monique, really proud of Ron Harper Jr. celebrating his Filipino heritage on Raptors Instagram yesterday, cooking up some food there. Yeah. All right, cool. So you have a connection with that community, Monique. That's awesome to know. And I know Granny Evelyn is very proud of Ron Harper Jr. also. And I'll bet she really liked seeing him cooking some Filipino food at the kitchen in OVO yesterday. You go, Granny Evelyn, Baby Candace, and Monique Lawrence. Y'all are awesome people. Mike's saying, I've been thinking about format. Shorter videos has been a feedback for a while. I have to find my rhythm of explaining context and knowing when it's not needed or adding too much. Yeah, you can get better and better at this. I mean, it's weird. Like my evolution on this channel, you can watch the early Raptor Freaks streams and you'll be like, this is a totally different channel at this point. It really does evolve. And since I'm so in the middle of it every single day, I don't really notice how it changes over time to a degree because it's kind of like I'm in the middle of it and it's slowly changing over time, but it's so often. But bam, like you can really, that's the thing. You go back and watch your first clip that you ever did, and then you see how much you've changed to the latest clip, and you're like, holy crap, I really have evolved. And I know that you're continuing to evolve still, as am I. All right, let's keep going. Fiercely saying, congratulations, Monique. Yeah, I changed my lineup because I picked one that was injured. Yeah, you got to check all that. Some of the women in the WNBA are not going to play this season, and you may have drafted them. They may not be playing because of injuries. They may not be playing because they're playing in Europe and they've decided to play over there instead of WNBA this year. They may not be playing because they're pregnant. So it is really good to check through, especially you guys who auto drafted yesterday or Thursday, I should say. You need to go and check and see if it auto drafted you some players that just aren't going to do anything for you and go and get on the waiver wire. So yeah, it's all on ESPN, Bradley and other people, and just go check it out for a little bit this morning. There are games at 1:00 today. So you want to do this before 1, just in case you have somebody that may miss you getting stats for. So, all right, let's see. Monique is saying, good to see everyone celebrating Kyle on Twitter last night. It's weird because they shouldn't have celebrated him last night. He didn't play well last night, but everybody understands that he is part of the Jimmy kind of like greatness on this team. He is another one like Jimmy. They're the same kind of person. And that is really the strength of the Miami Heat in the playoffs right now, is that Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry factor of who they are and their DNA and the kind of players they are, the winners, the leaders that they are. And oh man, keep going, Miami. Finish Boston off, please, please, please. Monique's saying Raptors especially. Yeah, it's kind of cool because we have different people that are showing appreciation for Kyle Lowry in different ways, and the Raptors fans love him right now. In fact, in some ways, we're vicariously living through the Miami Heat fans because of how much we love Kyle. And if Kyle gets to the Eastern Conference Finals, well, we're going to be very excited gets to the finals. He's already in the Eastern Conference Finals. If he gets to the finals, we're going to be very excited for him, even as Raptors Nation. Of course, we want to see the GROAT get another championship possibly. That'll be really good for him. And it'll really ensconce him in the history of the NBA as a true champion and winner. If he wins in Toronto and in Miami, you go, Lowry, do this, man. In some ways, I don't want Miami to win another championship, but in some ways, I want Kyle Lowry's legend to grow for sure. Mike saying, Lex, you nailed it. A thought I had about talking about the production of a clip and just letting the clip be. Interesting thought. I think about videos for weeks before doing them. I'm thinking 3 to 4 videos at the moment. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm guilty of this too. Like I do a little bit of like schedule telling you guys what's coming up. Like tomorrow, guys, Sunday report. This whole season, I've been keeping track of our 3 stars. Remember that, Monique? You gave me your 3 stars after every game. I talk about the 3 stars. Well, I kept the spreadsheet of all the 3 stars for the whole entire season, including the preseason. And I did an add up, a tally of everybody who got the most stars. And I had a whole system for counting the points. They got 3 points if they were the top star in a loss, 2 points if they're second star, and 1 point if they're the third star. Now, if they won, they got 6 points, and they got 4 points if they're second and 2 points if they're third. And I went through and I added everybody's totals up. And tomorrow I will present the top stars of the Raptors season from this past year, from all the 3 stars that we gave out over the whole entire year. I calculated it all up. I have a list of 20 Raptors, and I have them all ranked for their contributions and who got the most stars this whole season. So tune in tomorrow for my Sunday report, the 3 stars of the season from the Raptors. Yeah, that'll be fun. So yeah, that little bit of coming attractions is kind of good, in some ways. But in your case, you kind of just drop stuff at any time. It may be good because I'm kind of have a meeting place 9:30 every morning. I want them to know, well, this is the subject, and then maybe they come in. But with you don't have to necessarily do that. You can just kind of cold surprise us. All of a sudden, boom, this is what I'm doing this week. And in some ways, that could be a strength that you could use with the channel, because you could come out with a really kind of like, without warning us, whoa, Mike just did this thing on Siakam in this way, all of a sudden kind of thing. In some ways, you want to be surprising us. And you don't have to tell us your next move. That's what they say. You don't have to tell us what you're going to do. Just do it. And then boom, everybody will be like, wow. Because that could cut some of the time out of what you're doing also. Is that sometimes I feel like you're just kind of like talking about what you're going to do. You should just do it. That's the way we were taught at Second City. When you're doing a scene, don't like tell what you're going to do. Just do it. It's a kind of a thing in life. You don't say you're going to do something, just do it, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Anyway, Summer Lowe saying no team can win against DeMar's daughter. I don't know if there's anything more true that's been said today. If we could harness the power, the audio power of the shriek from DR DeRozan, wow, what a powerful force. Maybe we could use this in warfare in Ukraine. Yeah, we could get that on loudspeakers and point it towards Russia. I don't know. In some ways, it's like this is always going to be the DR DeRozan season for sure. We'll always remember DR DeRozan for sure. But thankfully for DeMar, she's fading into the background and everybody's forgetting about her. The press is being responsible and not putting her on blast like crazy. And I guess I should maybe stop talking about her too. Although it's just part of the fun legend of it and anything. I'm not trying to be hurtful towards her, and I don't want anybody to do anything to her. It's just kind of a funny footnote at this point. Yeah. All right, let's see. Mike is saying Butler and Lowry are true dogs in the sense of taking on any challenge with swagger. That's true. And they're birds of a feather. And when you put them together, they kind of exemplify each other and make each other even more powerful because they got each other's backs. Let's see. G saying Spoelstra is really a really good coach. His adjustments and his ability to bench and substitute players is impressive. See, that's what I wanted more from Nick. Is like, this is really good example. Is like, you can see he's not going to use Duncan Robinson every single game. He's not going to use Udonis Haslem every game, but he does know when to use them when they could be very useful in certain situations and spot duty. And that's something I wish Nick just knew how to do better. Is like he never ever utilized how to use the bench and spot duty for specific skills and specific roles to really help them. And that is part of the reason why the Miami Heat have a little bit of depth, is because Spoelstra makes depth out of their guys by using them correctly. Randolph saying, blessings, Mike. Keep up the good work. You're a legend. There you go. Randolph Phillips is giving you legendary status. The legendary Logical Raptors Fanatic channel. Check it out on YouTube. Blessings, blessings, blessings to everybody in the Raptor Freak family. That's right. Monique is saying, I kind of told off Aaron Rose. Good. Do it, Monique. Seriously, Aaron Rose needs some telling off too. Yeah, he does. He's in reference to Monty Williams' post. He said the Raptors won't win much, of course. It's a development year, but we will surprise most people. Yeah, you know what? Listen, the media people can be just as cynical as the Raptor fans that I was just talking about a little while ago. You go to the bar and you sit, and well, the reason why the guy sitting next to you is cynical about the Raptors is because he's listening to people like Aaron Rose and Michael Grange and Doug Smith. And they're part of the people that shape the perception of our team and whether we're going to be mid or bad or stuff like that. Listen, they don't know what's going on. They have no idea. Like, there is no way anybody who writes for the papers or any of the TV channels knows what the Raptors are going to be like next year. I have no idea what they're going to be like either. So if they start projecting that they're going to be bad next year, they don't know what they're fucking talking about. We have no idea because, first of all, we don't even know who the coach is right now. Second of all, we don't even know who Masai is going to move around or who's going to be on our team next year. This is all way more important before you start making projections and predictions for next season, Aaron Rose. We could do something really crazy. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I was wrong. Yeah, we're going to be really good because of the moves we made. That's what I'm saying. And even if we don't make things exactly the way he thinks and they think we're going to be mid, I won't believe that because I trust in Masai. And I think that we could have been way better last season, but we had a coach who was sabotaging us. And we should be much better this year without the active sabotage interfering with our team that still managed to get to 500 this season. So that's the way I'm saying is like, okay, you take out a very negative, awful, bad situation with chemistry and that you fix that. Well, you were already 500. Well, you should be above 500 next season. That's just logic, right? Doesn't that just make sense? Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about half the time. Aaron Rose is a casual. Like, I can go read his stuff and his mentality and how he is, and he is not really a learned basketball person. He's just a little dude who got a press pass somehow, and he's in there and he's asking questions, but he doesn't know jack shit about basketball in a lot of ways. He's an idiot. In fact, some of the stuff he said has made me really question his intelligence. He's a hot shot. He has access to get in there or whatever. But otherwise, I don't respect his knowledge. He's not like Lewinberg or Orrin Weisfeld or Samson Folk. His knowledge is shallow and he's very, very tabloid. And in some ways, he just repeats shit. He doesn't really have any kind of he doesn't know basketball. He really doesn't. In some ways, I can tell Aaron Rose could cover any sport, and he just happens to be covering the Raptors right now. And it's not like he has a specialty or anything like that. It's just that this is where he is in his spot at this point. And you can really tell that. Now, somebody like Samson Folk, who was a fan before Will Liu, these people, they know their basketball and they know what they're talking about. But I don't believe in Aaron Rose. I really I'm very suspicious of his acumen and his knowledge base in basketball. He's very tabloid, and he's kind of like if TikTok had an NBA reporter. That's who Aaron Rose is. And in fact, he does do a lot of TikToks on there with his dumb face on there saying stupid shit. So yeah, all right. Let's see. Fiercely saying, all right, hang on. Let's see. Mike saying, respect to all the Raptor freaks. This means the world. The openness of the process was to be like a helping hand for people listening to start their own channel, and maybe hearing my process helps them. Listen, that's great reasoning, and I won't doubt it. I'm just, and it's not even that I'm being nitpicky. You don't have to listen to me. You can keep doing what you do with the housekeeping segment. I'm just brainstorming, giving you an idea about how you could cut your time down even more in some ways. That's all. But yeah, you do whatever you want, Mike, and I won't judge. If you don't take my advice, that doesn't upset me. It's always your right whether you want to take people's advice or not. It's ultimately your decision, and it should be that way. Fiercely saying, I want Miami to win so that the Kawhi narrative be squashed. Kyle was also a huge piece to our chip. Yeah. I mean, that's just people who want to downgrade us and put us down. You say, oh, you wouldn't have won it without Kawhi. Kawhi did everything to win that championship. We know that's not true. Kyle, Pascal, Fred, these guys all had huge impacts and contributing. Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, they all had a part in it. They really did. Mike saying, just do it, Lex. Just log that experience insight. There you go. Just do it, baby. That's right. Some people say they're going to do stuff and they never do it. So just do it, and then you don't have to say you were going to do it. You just did it. Monique saying, "I remember the 3 stars of the game. Please send me your spreadsheet early on." Awesome. You know what, Monique? I will send you that spreadsheet. I'll message it to you after this so you can preview it ahead of time, and we'll go over it tomorrow with everybody else. Mike saying, just do it. Be like Mike. Yeah, yeah, that's what they say. You can talk about it. That's wasting time. Don't talk about it. Just do it. Fiercely saying, Grant Williams was the perfect example of when trash talking goes wrong. That's right. It's kind of like I love those segments, like when this goes wrong or when this goes wrong or something like that. That's definitely a good example of that. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of funny memes this morning of like people like Joe Mazzulla looking at what Joe Mazzulla looked at Grant Williams afterwards. Jimmy very specifically said, "Yeah, that motivated me. That pissed me off, and this is a big reason why I got crazy and beat them because Grant was talking that smack like that." Well, there you go, Grant Williams. You want to play that game with dangerous people like Jimmy Butler, you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out real quick. Yeah, yeah, that's Jimmy Butler. Don't poke the bear. Yeah. And we know that we used to say that all the time about Kyle. Don't poke the bear with Kyle. You piss off Kyle, he could do stuff real quick in a game and make it change real fast. Isaac saying Charles Barkley is predicting a Denver Nuggets championship. I loved hearing that from Charles. I love it. But this sometimes is not good because we've noticed when Charles makes bold predictions, they're usually wrong. So, Charles, shut up. You may think that, but don't say it out loud. This is a case where we don't want you to say this kind of stuff out loud because we want Denver to win. And sometimes when Charles says something like that, it doesn't go that way somehow, some way. So, I don't like him saying it, even though I agree with him. It's just that his track record of making predictions always doesn't work out, it seems like. Cowboy saying, did I beat David? Well, it's only the first night. You're not late to this. There's a lot more games. The first week is until the 28th. So you've got some time. I think you're pretty close, actually. No, you're losing 136 to 74 right now, Bradley. You are losing. He's almost doubled you up. You just got to make sure you get players in, and you'll be fine. But yeah, the matchup is until the 28th. So you got time. Every single game until then will be cumulative towards whether you're going to beat Bradley. So the matchup is over a week. So you got a lot of nights coming up. So we'll see how you do. Mike's saying you got to work with what you have and see what you have properly. That's the disconnect between most casuals and real basketball scouts. There you go. There you go. You can't believe the hype. You can't let your kind of predetermined preferences. Some of you may have a predilection to like certain players because they come from a certain school. You could be like, I like this guy because he's from my hometown. You can't have any of that kind of stuff clouding your judgment when you're trying to assess these young players coming up in college in the draft. You really can't. You got to really like nuts and bolts this like visually. The eye test, watching them move and work on the court is the best way to do it. They're going to say all kinds of things in profiles and athletic guides, media guides about hyping them up. But until you actually see the player on the court and how they move, the way they work their muscles, the way they hold themselves, the way they run, the way that they kind of guard people, the way that they go up with their shot, you really don't know the kind of player they are until you see that kind of stuff. And, there's other things too. Obviously, the interviews and getting to know the personality and what makes them tick. I like the idea of Bobby and Masai going to dinner with people and sitting down because, like, they said something about when we go to dinner with players, we look for certain things. Like, they may be looking for it's the kid rude to the waiter or they use like good table manners. There may be like really weird things they kind of look for character with these guys when they actually sit down and talk to them. So all these draft prospects right now that are in the combine this week and that are hoping to get drafted by the NBA this summer, they're getting scrutinized in all kinds of different ways, not just physically with what I was just talking about on the court, but their personalities, their backgrounds, and all that kind of stuff. And that's important. I like the idea of them sitting down to dinner with Masai and Bobby. I think he said something about the dinner with Scotty a couple years ago and how that went so well. And that made a huge impact on them drafting Scotty Barnes was, meeting him and talking to him as a person. He just really impressed them. So All right, let's see. Monique's saying apparently he has JJ Redick as coach in an interview he did with Bodog. Oh man, JJ Redick is not going to be our coach next year. That's silly. That's people who don't like the Raptors want us to do something stupid. See, that's part of the problem too. Is a lot of these rumors are put out there and put on blast because they want something to happen. It just doesn't make any sense. That's half of these stuff half the time. Yeah, Aaron Rose was doing that. Yeah, he's an idiot. There's a lot of people that have really weird ideas about our coach's search and who it should be and stuff like that. Now, I've thought about this. I wondered this yesterday after we talked about the coaches stuff yesterday with Rico and Jim Sands sticking around to still be a part of the Raptors organization, and then the weird limbo of Adrian Griffin. Well, I had this just occur to me in my mind. Now, this could be true. I hope it isn't, but this could be true. The Raptors may be having a really hard time getting a new coach, partly because of all the competition now with the other teams having their vacancies open: Milwaukee, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Detroit. And what I think is happening with Adrian Griffin is this is what's happening is that if we don't get one of our top candidates, I think we're just going to go ahead and hire Adrian Griffin and make him our head coach after all. That he is kind of like our like safety just in case. That if that's why we haven't totally parted with him, and it may not necessarily be that it's because he's going to come back as a top assistant. It's just that he's ultimately our absolute backup plan no matter what, and that would make sense because he's familiar, he's safe in a lot of ways, and we know that he will take the job if we offer it to him if he doesn't get a job from anybody else. So I'm starting to think that part of the reason why we haven't closed the door on Adrian Griffin not returning is because he is absolutely our backup plan no matter what if we do not get a good coach in some sort of way. And I am worried about this to a degree. There's a lot of perception that our job is not a good job to take. That the Phoenix and the Milwaukee jobs, of obviously with Giannis and Kevin Durant and those jobs, that's a very attractive thing. Now, I would argue that Philadelphia is not as is even or less attractive than us. But most people in the league would probably say that Philadelphia's job is way more attractive than our job because of how far they got and Joel and all this kind of stuff. I don't agree with that. I think it would be a nightmare trying to coach the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's what Doc Rivers has found and Brett Brown in the last couple of years. So I worry about that. And I think that that's part of what's going on with this, with Griffin, is that he is like, just in case, we will hire him and he will be our coach no matter what. And I like that. I like that we have like kind of a good safety just in case things are really screwed up with this coach stuff. So we'll have to see if I'm right. Mike's saying I made the disconnect comment towards Aaron Rose and Monty judging the team before anything has happened yet. Even with the same guys, the younger guys will grow more. The disconnect to a T. Yeah. You know what? Listen. We'll have to see how this all goes. I think that listen, a lot of the people are saying right now that the way that the league's happening with these firing these coaches is listen, is evolved. They're saying that the coach's job is different now. That coaches like Nurse and Budenholzer may not be good for this league at this point because they never played in the NBA. And that in some ways you need to be a coach that played in the NBA before, because a lot of the players are saying they don't respect guys who never played. And in some ways, the way the players are, the young players, and how they need to learn fundamentals and get better, in some ways, they need a former player as their coach at this point, because there's certain like weight that they have that they can throw around when telling people what they should do than somebody like Nick Nurse. So that may be part of the evolution of all the coaches' firings right now, is that now a coach doesn't just do X's and O's and is like a stern authority figure. The coach has to be kind of like a PJ Tucker is on Philadelphia and be like this like babysitter for young players and like really cater to their egos and like nurture them in a way that like is helpful. In some ways, the coach has to teach them how to be a real pro and to actually how to be a professional NBA player. And in some ways, that's extra stuff on top of the workload. And it helps if you're somebody like Darvin Ham, because Darvin Ham was very much a player and he's also a coach. And that's what I'm saying is like it may be that it may get to the point very soon that none of these coaches that didn't play are going to be in jobs anymore. That every single coach in the NBA is going to be almost a prerequisite that you have to be a player before that. I think that that's going to start happening because the job of the coach isn't just X's and O's anymore. It's babysitting and teaching these youngsters how to be pros. And if you never were a pro, how are you going to teach them how to be a professional player and where they'll listen to you? So, in some ways, people like Sam Cassell, Monty Williams, Adrian Griffin have a leg up over the competition for coaching jobs over, say, a Nick Nurse or Mike Budenholzer, because that is how this is trending with what the players' needs are as players from what their coach should be giving them. They need babysitting at this point, is basically what I'm saying. Very, very interesting. Monique saying, Ahmet Man and CJ dropped the video on the coaches with stream, W stream all around, Lex. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That I'm kind of got that from that Ahmet Man, CJ Miles piece that's talking about this. That this is how it is now in the league, that there should be more former players as coaches at this point. Summer Lowe saying Harden leaving the Sixers will probably make them significantly worse. Probably, yeah, they're in big trouble there. In some ways, they're tearing things down there more than we are. There's also a huge problem that Embiid might up and leave all of a sudden somehow, some way. He may become a real problem and force his way out. I think that may it be likely. It's really sounding like there's overtures that he wants to go play for the Miami Heat. That if you can't beat them, join them. It's that kind of thing. So Joel may be trying to get himself out of Philadelphia, and then the Sixers may not look anywhere like what they are right now. They may very well have like screwed up their best chance once again this year, and they're going to destroy. They're going to be breaking up. I mean, obviously they fired the coach, and James has already said he's going back to Houston. His mother lives there. He has all kinds of connections to Houston, and he's ready to go back to the Rockets and play back there. And as they put it, he's treated like a god in Houston. He's got his favorite strip clubs. He's got his mother there, and he has a lot of businesses there. And it's probably attractive to him that Emma Doka's there now too. So, Houston's, Philly's going to be having some change for sure already with their coach. Harden's probably going to leave. And who knows? They're even talking about moving Maxey. Like I've heard rumors that they would trade Maxey right now. So Philadelphia is very much in disarray. And it's really crazy because they look so solid this season. And even just a couple weeks ago when they're playing the playoffs. Man, oh man, things can happen really fast in the NBA. Really fast. Really fast. Let's see. Mike saying the reason we beat the win-loss over under for the season is the fact we were always developing and improving. So judging things before usually way low. Yeah, we overachieved the year before and we had some lucky bounces. Well, this year we did not, and we had dysfunction and we got what we got. And I'm actually impressed that we still ended up 500 this season. In some ways, that's a win considering just how messed up our team was inside. It's a huge accomplishment in some ways, considering how much we were not right chemistry wise. Shane saying, happy Saturday, friends. Shouts out to Mike and all the other positive content creators. That means you too, Lex. Bam. Thank you, Shane Waters, holding it down on the West Coast with Tom Duke and Joseph Starks. Holding it down the West Coast Raptor freaks out in BC. We appreciate y'all getting up early to watch us in the morning. Yes, Mike, so much love to share with you. Let me just go over the rest of my stuff real quick and we'll get out of here in under 90 minutes. Once again, Miami Heat coming back to beat the Boston Celtics and humiliate them on their home court, outscoring them 36-22 in the last quarter. Jimmy Butler, a huge factor in that. You shouldn't have poked the bear, Grant Williams. That is on you, bro. That's totally on you, Grant Williams. Why'd you piss off Jimmy like that? Man, oh man. Once again, y'all, follow Logical Raptors Fanatics channel. He is on YouTube. I've got a link in the description for this channel. If you do not follow Logical Raptors Fanatic, do it. He will have something coming out at 2 o'clock today, and be ready for it. You could even watch it live. Have a live screening of watching it. Always fun to watch our Raptors on Instagram. Oh, here's a David Johnson workout. He's working out. OG's just posted something. Let me see what OG's got on here. When OG posts on Instagram, that's a big deal because we don't always see OG doing things on social media. What did OG post? Where did that post go? I just saw it a second ago. Where is OG? Here, I'm going to just go to his page directly. OG Anunoby. What did you do, OG? Let's see. All right, what is his story? Is he putting Christian on blast too? What is it? Wait, why is it not letting me get there? Why is his story not coming up? It's slow. Wonder if that's my internet. Maybe it is. I don't know. Oh, I can't see the OG story. Maybe it has to do with Gillette or something. I don't know. All right, our referees for the game in LA tonight, Denver versus the Lakers. Scott Foster, Bill Kennedy, and Mark Lindsay. Scott Foster and Bill Kennedy are favoring the Lakers historically, and Mark Lindsay favors the Denver Nuggets. So there you go. WNBA started last night. Good stuff in the WNBA. Connecticut beating Indiana. Washington Mystics beating the super team of the New York Liberty, Chicago Sky beating the Minnesota Lynx once again, and the LA Sparks beating the Phoenix Mercury on the first night of the WNBA. Get your lineup set up. If you're in the fantasy league, get in there and set them up and get them ready so that you got it going the right way. All right, y'all, let's finish up real quick. Jason Smith's here. What's up, gang? What's up, Jason? Good to see you, Jason. I hope you're having a good Saturday. It's raining in the Toronto area right now. Respect to everyone. W Stream, like always. Thank you, Mike. And as I said, tomorrow we'll do a Sunday report. The 3 stars of the season. I did a cumulative add up of all the 3 stars for the whole entire season, and I can tell you which players got the most stars for the whole entire year. The rankings of our Raptors, they will be revealed tomorrow on my Sunday report. 3 stars of the season, Raptors 2022-2023. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Thanks for the love and the respect. All the best, and share the love. Get out there and share the love for somebody that you love and respect, like Mike, and tell them that you appreciate them. And do it in your own life, and just do it for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be Raptors related. Just tell somebody, hey, you know what? I really do appreciate you for this and what you do in this part of my life, or something like that. And sometimes you may be surprised just how much you make somebody's day, just to know that you are recognizing that you appreciate them. You may be shocked just how much that can have a ripple effect on somebody and how they're doing. All right, y'all. Have a great Saturday. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Just please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And let's go. Logical Raptors Fanatic, Raptors Free, Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, Scotty Barnes, Delano